It's time, sir. Namaste, good evening to all sisters and brothers present in today's study session organized by the Indian section on Mahatma letters. And before we start our today's session, let us all come together in heart and mind and invoke the presence of that immutable principle in which we live, move, and have our being. O hidden light, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May all who feel themselves as one with thee know they are therefore one with every other. Welcome back, everyone. As all of you are aware, that today's session is the weekly session of Mahatma Letters organized by the Indian section. And today we have with us Brother PRADIP MAHAPATRA ji, who is the National Lecturer of the Indian section and also the Secretary of Propagation for the Indian section. And we all know a lot of work at the lodge level, national level, federation level, and also international level that he continues to do with all his energy and keep motivating us all, along with his better half, Mitalini aunties also. So without any further ado, I will request Brother Mahapatra ji to take us on this journey of the letters 76 and 77. I hope these two letters taken today. So Mahapatra ji, it's all yours.
Thank you, Sekharji. After a long gap, I am before you as a speaker to explain some points relating to these two letters, letters number 76 and 77. These two letters referring some previous letters which Mahatma mentioned previously to Senate. It is relating to spirits in the science room, how they became spirits, means at lower levels because of accidents, because of suicides, because of murders. It is all happening at present day. People are facing accidents, people are committing suicides and murders, and how they have reached the Devachan plane, and how they are working out their karmas, and what are the mediums are doing, how they are affected by different entities. And some hints are given to us how we shall progress in a spiritual path. That is one part. Then Mahatma mentioned here and there in a different context, which is also a principle for us to guide in our daily life. So these two letters, even if it is very small for us, but it has some meaning in our day-to-day life. So I am going to present you slides for your understanding. Yes. So today we'll take up only two letters, chronological letter number 76 and 77. And next on 16, we'll take another three small letters, but it has some points for our consideration. So we'll go to the next slide. This first letter, this letter number 76, it divided into two parts. And very interestingly, we'll rarely find questions. But in this letter, Senate wrote letter to Mahatma and Mahatma replied. And in the letter itself, which was sent to Mahatma, Master KH, by Senate, Mahatma also in bold letters mentioned some important points. So the circumstances surrounding this letter number 76, which is really two letters, one from Senate, another from the masters. So one can know the questions as well as the answers from the masters. But basically, these are the, in one letter, both parts are there. Here, Mahatma was addressed by Senate, my dear guardian. I am afraid the present letters on the theosophy are not worth much, for I have worked on two literal and acceptance of some passages in your long letter about devotion, which was previously covered by our respected speakers on devotion. It is probably in the letter number 68, and previous to that, the bearing of that seemed to be that the accidents as well as the suicides were in danger from the attraction of the change room. So this is relating to slide number 2, in which there are some point like devotion, and particularly relating to accident and suicides, how it is connected in the science room. As we all know, the Theosophical Society, when it was formed, particularly Blavatsky was instructed to go to New York. There, she was advised to have contact with the Aristide Olcott. At that time, they preferred the science room, this room in which the spirits, means the American people or the members of that club, they assembled together and they have some kind of interaction with the spirits. So this is relating to the spirits who are met with the accident, met with the, or committed suicide or murder. So how they are able to progress in their life, in the other part of the life, in the not in the visible world, but in the other side of the world, physical world. So that is the reason Mahatma Senate, Mahatma was addressed by my dear guardian by Senate, and he referred all these things what is earlier letters. So next, but there is another kind of spirit we have lost sight of. It is the referred by Brother Senate, that is relating to another kind of spirit, and that is they are from the suicides and those killed by accidents. Both kinds can communicate and both have to pay dearly for such visits. And Mahatma in bold letters, if you have books, you can see Mahatma mentioned correct. So the second part is that as to the victims of the accident, these fair still ores, victims of the accident, these fair still ores, unhappy shades, cut off in the full flush of earthly passions. They are pisachas, etc. They not only ruin their victims, Mahatma in bold letters mentioned, again correct. But here is one proviso or exception, we can say. Bear in mind that the exceptions enforce the rule. So in this slide, we will see that what Senate mentioned to Mahatma, that as it is happening now in Odisha, there is one of the worst kind of train accident. Means it is said that it was in the history second worst type of accident. Previously, in 1995, that was more damaging than this. So, if we consider this, how the people suffer, what are the spirit which were supposed to continue their life for many, many years, just within a flash of movement, they left their physical body. And what is happened to the rest which is known as spirit. So this accident, these suicides people are committing now and then every time because of many reasons, tension, stress, etc., etc. So while meeting this type of situation, the physical body, after they left by this kind of action, so what happened to them? So his Senate's query is, both kinds can communicate. Both kinds means those who have committed suicide or killed by accident, both can communicate and both have to pay dearly for such visits. Visits means here in the room. If they are attracted, if they are in the level of the low level, they are attracted to the science room and they have to face dearly for such visits. Mahatma mentioned correct. Then second part say, as to the victims of the accident, you see there are many accidents happening every now and then. If you will observe throughout the world or even throughout the India, each moment somebody is facing with the accident. So the person who faced accident left his physical body. If it is some kind of very severe, miserable accident, then what will happen to them? Here, Senate in this point says, these fair still worse, unhappy shades, cut off in the full flush of earthly passion. Immediately, they left the earthly passion. Earthly passion means they have some kind of attraction towards different earthly passions. To say for a his children, his wife, his other things like passion means liquor, passion means smoking, etc. Immediately they have gone. They are the pisachas. Pisacha is some kind of worst devil type of person. They are still there. They are doing there some kind of work. They have been probably they are attracted more by dark forces. They not only ruin their victims. So these something here Senate mentions that these pisachas, these person, very low level of the evolution. So they will become some kind of devils and they destroy and they are ruining the victims. Again, Mahatma mentioned, again correct. Bear in mind the exceptions enforce the rule. So there are many exceptions. So to prevail upon, to continue this evolution processes, Mahatma mentions there are also some rules. So here, just we can observe something. If it is come to our mind, my request is brothers and sisters who are watching online, they can observe for a moment, for a seconds, say to 5 to 6 seconds, and see how Mahatma answered it with a very pertinent quotation. Exceptions enforce the rule. There are many things happening in the world, many kinds of accident, many kinds of suicide, murder, but there are exceptions, which makes them the rules. So just observe for a couple of seconds, then we'll go to the next. What is this slide is telling to us? Thank you. So we'll go to the next slide. Slide number 4. Then Mahatma given the answer, real answer in the second part of this letter, letter number 76. Mahatma mentioned, on margin I said rarely, but I have not pronounced the word never. See the difference. Mahatma explaining it to AP Senate, who is a very senior member of Theosophical Society at that time, but he clarified that in margin I mentioned rarely, but it doesn't mean that I said no. Accidents occur under the most various circumstances, and men are not only killed accidentally or die as suicide, but are also murdered. Something we have not even touched upon. Just he mentioned what Brother Senate asked him to clarify. So Mahatma mentioned accident occur under most various circumstances. People are having many kinds of work and livelihood in their daily life. They are facing different situations at different stages of the life. And while working or coming or doing their work, they met with accident. Someone saved miraculously, some by any way they met with accident and gone to other world. In various, so Mahatma mentioned, in various circumstances they met with accident. And there are men who not only kill accidentally or die as suicide, but are also murdered. Something we have not even touched. Then second part of this slide says, I can well understand your perplexity. Mahatma mentioning, as he was always observing us. So when the question raised in the mind of Brother AP Senate, Mahatma marked and said, your perplexity, but can hardly help. Bear always in mind that there are exceptions to every rule, and to these again and other sides of exception, we always prepare to learn something new. So here in this slide is for us to think over. So there are many kinds of accidents. It is in the next slide, Mahatma will explain better for us if we would like to understand. So here is two words, rarely and never. Then perplexity. Suppose we have some kind of accident, many accidents where it is visible to us. Then there are also people who have been committing suicides and also murder. So that was not touched in the previous letters. So here in the second part, Mahatma mentioned that the disturbance, the perplexity in our mind, uh, which Mahatma is not able to help it. Help means he cannot remove the doubt or perplexity in our mind. We have to understand ourselves. That is the reason next sentence said, bear always in mind that there are exceptions to every rule. And to these again and other side exception. And be always prepared to learn something new. So the important point on this slide is that we can ponder over or meditate for a couple of seconds that we should always be ready to learn, prepared to learn something new, whatever given to us in a book or in a literature or in a pamphlet, a theosophical. As a student of theosophy, we should be prepared to learn something new because the complexity, because the problems, because whatever is within our mind to understand, that we have to remove. So Mahatma here say will never help us to remove our problems, remove our perplexity. So we have to learn, we have to prepare, we have to help ourselves to learn something new. So let us have a meditation for a couple of seconds, say about 5 seconds, on how to prepare to learn something new in our daily life. I'll come back next slide. I can easily understand, Mahatma said. I can easily understand we are accused of contradictions and inconsistencies. Even to writing one thing and denying it tomorrow. What you are taught is the rule. Then third point, good and pure accident slip in the akash, ignorant of their changes. Next sentence, that is fourth sentence, very wicked and impure suffer all the tortures of the horrible nightmare. So let us discuss, think over, ponder over this fourth sentence. Mahatma mentioned first sentence, contradictions and inconsistencies. You will mark every time there are some allegations here and now against not only against Mahatma, but against also Blavatsky. You are telling this, then next time on this. So the contradiction and inconsistencies are not with them or not with the great ones. These contradiction, inconsistencies are with us. We are not to their level. So we are in a bit of confusion. We are a bit of not able to understand what they are telling. So we are always alleging that you told us this thing. Now you have changing it. Now it is so. These are the contradiction and consistencies going on in our mind. So we are judging that. So whatever happening in our mind, we are judging the views of great ones in our eyes. So that is the reason. So Mahatma says, easily I can easily understand why this is we are accused of contradiction. Even writing one thing, denying it tomorrow, that is also same idea. So What you are taught, Mahata, here mentioned, what you are taught is the rule. Because the rule is not changeable, rule is there. You can say it is divine law or a rule uh, implemented by the predecessors of the great ones. With the present, the divine teachers who are the rulers of the inner government. So whatever rule is there, it is for us to obey. But we are always questioning. So you told us today this thing, and tomorrow is another thing. All this. So my point is contradiction, inconsistency, whatever is there, it is within us, not with the great ones, not with their teachings. So that we have to accept it, because that is the rule. Then second point is, third point, good and pure accident, sleep in the akash, ignorant of the changes. So what is good and pure accident? Then if you go to the fourth point, very wicked, impure, suffer all the tortures of horrible nightmare. So here, good and pure is the soul. Means he has the person uh, advance in the evolution. So by advancement, by purification, his the bodies are pure and good. So if he met with an accident, he sleep in the akasa as if nothing is changed. Means as if he is moving in a as usual in the physical world. So good, pure accident. So accident is not good. Accident is not pure. Accident is accident. It is death occurred to a person, to a particular individual who is good and who is pure. So the moment he met with an accident, he slips in the akash. Suppose a pure soul is moving in a train. He met with an accident. So as if he is sleeping and he is moving, nothing happened to him. No changes. He is ignorant of their changes. So I am narrating a story which while discussing in morning with Mitalini ji, she narrated the story of Gautam Buddha. While Gautam Buddha was moving different parts of villages and reached in a particular village, there he marked that the village headman, he already accommodated another individual person. So the village headman very politely refused, but Gautam Buddha and his followers like Ananda, so they are not in a position to go outside, so they kept their baggage and sleep in veranda. So next day, Lord Buddha marked that the young sadhu who was staying previously to him, he explained beautifully to the followers, to the villagers about teachings of Lord Buddha. Then Lord Buddha met that young person, young sadhu, then inquired about his teacher, inquired his all these things. Then the young sadhu told Buddha that my teacher is Lord Gautam Buddha. Then Buddha asked him, have you ever met him? No, Lord, no, sir, I have not met him. Then Buddha introduced himself before that young sadhu. Then sadhu have sustained pranam and also requested Lord Buddha that kindly accept me as a disciple, because I like this, the vastras, and I have to follow you like your thousands, hundreds disciples. So Lord Buddha tried his best to convince him that you are doing a very good work for the society, for the people, why you follow me now? Then as he insisted more and more, so Lord Buddha decided that you visit some nearby jungles, collect some water so that you can have my blessings and you will be accepted as a bhikkhu. Then when that young sadhu entered into jungle, he met with an accident. He met with some kind of accident, so his physical body lost. Then Buddha, he knew all these things. So Ananda asked him, Lord, why did you send him to the jungle? As he certainly he met with an accident and uh, it is not a good idea to send him. Then Lord Buddha told him that he has advanced so in his evolution journey. He is uh, preparing to be my disciple. Already he crossed that level. So my point is, this good and pure soul met with an accident because of the some kind of reason. Lord Buddha uh, told him to go there. So this pure and good soul, when he met with an accident, left his physical body. He sleep as if he sleep in the akasha, ignorant of their changes. So that Mahatma mentioned here. So they are not in a position to go to the science room. So next important is very wicked, impure. Those who are very wicked person, impure in their physical body, suffer all the tortures of a horrible nightmare. If these people will meet with an accident, they will suffer, they will torture like anything. So you will mark this type of a happening. So my meditation point in the side is good and pure accident, good and pure soul, met with an accident, sleep in the akasha. Just make ourselves more and more good and pure. So whatever is coming to us is a divine incident. Let us observe it silently. Thank you. So the point is, if we have make ourselves good and pure and do the divine work, what will happen to us? It is nothing will happen to us. Then we will go to the next slide. The majority means majority who are not good or pure, majority neither good nor very bad, neither very good nor very bad, victims of the accident or violence, including murder. Some sleep, others become nature pisachas. This nature pisacha is mentioning. And while a small minority may fall victims to mediums and derive new set of skandhas from the mediums who attract them. So there are many individuals, entity, because of their work in the physical world, they have not purified and they have not do any kind of spiritual work. So when they met accident, they faced violence. So they are attracted towards the mediums, means tantric, those who use their um, bodies. So they derive a new set of skandhas from medium who attract them. Skandhas were more that they are becoming more and more dangerous to the human evolutions. Small as their number may be, their fate is to be most deplored. Kindly see here, my point is how law of karma is also working. Not only working here, not only working in invisible world. If we not purified, if we not work or work for the humanity, if we self-centered, we are damaging the whole evolution. Not only at this level, at other level, you will be attracted by the mediums and you will create more skandhas. And even if we are small, means those dangerous people, dangerous entity, their fate is more dangerous for the world. So, law of karma is applicable to each and every entity, whether in this physical world, also in that world, in the other part world. So we will be aware of, we will be very cautious of the working of the law of karma. So from here in this physical world, we must purify ourselves. You must work for the humanity in whatever best possible manner we can do for the evolution, progress of the evolution, what Mahatma has been doing in their work for the humanity. So, law of karma is working everywhere. Let us be silent for a moment how this law of karma is working. Thank you. Let us go to the next slide, please. Slide number 7. Here, Mahatma giving some hints for us in our daily life. Theosophy is practical when we collect the very basic points and adapt in our daily life. If we adapt it in daily life, it will be more interesting for us and it became wisdom for us. Whatever we are learning, reading, studying, etc., it is only theory. But the moment we changed ourselves, then it became the wisdom to us. Here, Mahatma, in this slide, two important points. Much to learn. You have been Senate, and we can place ourselves in replacing Senate. We have much to learn. As a student of theosophy, we know we have much to learn and we have much to teach. Means Mahatma said, we have, Mahatma also mentioned that we have much to teach, nor do we refuse to go to the very end. So teaching means it will continue. Mahatma is not refusing to teach us till the end. But we must really beg that you should not jump at hasty conclusions. We should not judge as the hasty conclusions. This is one part. Then second part, I do not blame you. Here, interestingly, Mahatma mentioned, I do not blame you, means to Senate, means to us, my dear faithful friend. I would rather blame myself. Were anyone here to blame except our respective modes of thought and habit so diametrically opposed to each other? Let us think over it and let us discuss it. First sentence, we have to learn many things. As we're going through the theosophical text, we know at what stage we are. We are just at the means standard 1 or standard 2. Even if we have learned many things from the books, but still we have to learn much. And other side, Mahatma says that they are ready to teach us and they are not refusing to go to the very end, means to the end of their teachings, they are ready. But our problem is we are jumping at hasty conclusions. Here, Sister Joy Mills, in her book, she referred the book is something like Wisdom of Mahatma Letters. She quoted in that while critically analyzing this letter, she mentioned that about AP Senate, and I am eager to quote that sentence. Finding our ideas about Senate, I see finding it is in the LBC book of this letter is at 499. Chronological letter. I have not in this because it is not in the letter, but as Joy Mills quoted, so I am just referring. But we are generally doing jumping at hasty conclusions, finding our ideas substituted by concrete and false images in the minds of your readers. Whatever Mahatma given to us, we jumped at once and made it concrete and false images. That is a great mistake we have always been committing. If you but succeed in giving them only relative, not absolute truth, you will have conferred upon the public a great good. So two things we are doing here, that we are giving it a concrete and false image, which is creating problem. Rather, we should do that giving some kind of a relativity and not absolute truth, relative truth, so that it will a great boon to the public. So here Mahatma says to us that don't jump at a hasty conclusions. Whatever they are giving to us, it is we have to slowly to accept it, think over it, ponder over it, then we can reach a conclusion. But immediately we jump to the conclusion. The next point is, second point, I do not blame you. Here Mahatma given us that what position we are. We are hasty, we are eager to reach in a conclusion. That is our present position. So they don't blame us. I would rather blame myself. Mahatma mentioned blame is with him. But where anyone here to blame except our respective modes and thought habit so diametrically opposed to each other. How the thoughts, the raw action, the working structure is diametrically opposed to each other. Just giving an example, Mahatma for last 6 lives, he has no atom of anger with him. But it is means angerless. He has no anger with him. While on the other parts, if you will see, we have full of anger, full of irritation, full of pride, etc. So that is the reason it is so that we are diametrically opposed to each other. So for a couple of seconds, we will have a this is that not to jump hasty conclusions. So let us observe this. We should think as it is, not to reach conclusion hastily. Thank you. Next slide. Accustomed as we are to teach chelas, we know enough to find themselves beyond the necessity of ifs and buts during the lessons. I am but too apt to forget that I am doing the work with you, generally entrusted to these chelas. So here the two important points Mahatma mentioned in this letter, I put it in this slide, that most of the students like us will always have if that was happened, but that was not there, all these things. So Mahatma is ready to teach chelas who find themselves, those chelas, those students who are beyond the ifs and buts. So if you have ifs and buts, if you have this thing, all this thing it is within us, then there is no question of any learning or teaching from the Mahatmas, great teachers. So he says that I am, but I have to forget that I am doing work with generally interested to these chelas. But Mahata again clarified that that he is interested by the great Mahajan to do the work with generally this type of chelas, not to have no chelas who have ifs and buts. But the responsibility is with us that we should not have ifs and buts to go beyond that. So in this, we are going to conclude this letter. But one thing I have request you to for a silently think over. We should always have no ifs and buts while receiving teachings through Mahatma in their books written by their disciple like Blavatsky, Animation, up to Radhavanya. So whatever we'll study, there should not be any ifs and buts in our mind. Then we can learn. Thank you. Then letter number 77, chronological letter number, Mahatma letter number 50. I here Mahatma, while teaching us, he terribly pulled down, how he was affected by the pride of Hume, all these things which we are always finding in our daily life. Mahatma at that level, because he used the platform to teach Mr. Hume and Mr. Sinek, so he felt some kind of this, which is at the physical level. Anyone, even Mahatma admitted that as he was using their physical vehicles, so they feel. So here it is mentioned, Mahatma mentioned, I feel terribly pulled down mentally with this unceasing attitude of unavoidable opposition and as continual attack on our strong. During the whole of my quiet and contemplative life, I never met with a man more tenacious or unreasonable. I cannot go on like that, passing my life in useless protest. And if you cannot bring to bear upon him your friendly influence, means he is telling Senate, friendly influence, we'll have all of us to part company at some not a distance day. So here, if we work like a Hume, then there will be no help from the Senate. So this is here. So we are facing many among us, many members of Theosophical Society, the modern world, Theosophical world, they have many types of argument and all these things. So they can be treated as an unavoidable opposition. So it is really disturb the inner the founders. So Mahatma mentioned that as happened to Hume, they stopped the link. So even the present day, the members of Theosophical Society who have such type of activities, such type of work in their mind, argumentative, opposition, all these things, they are in no way in connection with the inner founders. So, great ones cannot help us if one be like Hume. So let us say for 5-6 seconds how we will be more quiet, contemplative life, pursued it, then we will certainly be blessed with the blessings of great ones. Thank you. Next, Mahatma was with Chauhan, means Mahachauhan, who is holding the 3 to 7 rays. So he is Mahachauhan. Maha means Mahatma, Master KH with the Chauhan. When I received the letter, I now enclose this first letter, means first part of this letter. And the Chauhan was perfectly disgusted and the Theosophical Society activities, Hume and Senate role. Mahachauhan was perfectly disgusted, called the whole thing the Tibetan name of a comedy. So it was the views of Mahachauhan. It is not that he is anxious to do good or help the progress of Theosophical Society. In the other angle, Mahachauhan is always ready, like previously, even now, those who are serious student of Theosophy or serious of progress of Theosophical Society, then he is ready to help. It is simply, believe me or not, insatiable pride in him, with you, a ferocious, intense desire to feel and show to others that he is the one elect. He was at that time president of an eclectical Theosophical Society, Simla. So he is the one elect Mahatma by Mahatma. That he knows that which all others are barely allowed to suspect. So whatever his speech is, whatever his views is, that is because of insatiable pride. It is as if to him gospel truth. So Mahatma said that is not, it is means Mahachauhan, according to Mahachauhan, it is a comedy. So that is a very beautiful sentence he mentioned. So we should not, while meditation, we should not have any kind of pride, which is not acceptable, and it is dangerous in the spiritual path. So that is a lesson for us in a daily life. We should not have any such thing. Next is here. This is the last slide. Many points. Do not protest, for it is useless. Suppose anyone like to protest the activities of at that time regarding Mahatma's action, etc., it is useless. So Mahatma mentioned, don't protest, for it is useless. We know and you do not know. Mahatma Master KH mentioned, we know, हमको पता है, but you do not know. Then the Chauhan means Mahachauhan heard the other day the idiotic but painful, sincere lamentations of the wife and took note of that. What is that? What is means lamentations of the wife means, suppose you are in quarrel with wife and left the wife. So wife is in a disturbed position. Mahachauhan marked it. Kindly see how they are observing the members of Theosophical Society, members of the Theosophical family. So here Mahachauhan heard the other day the painful, sincere lamentations of the wife and took note of that. It is relating to disturbance between you and Pan and also their better halves. Such is not a man who aim at to becoming a perfect soul, and he who write of a brother theosophist, what he has written to me of for is a no theosophist. I feel really disheartened, yet for the sake of society, I would not lose him. well, I will do all I can, but I am seriously afraid that he will spoil the truth himself someday. Here in these four sentences are very important for us. We should not protest because protest is creating problem, useless it is, and we should maintain cordial relationship in our family. So we should not be more humble with our relationship. Then we should not have any kind of allegations against any brother, anything, because those allegations, those writing against another is a make us a non-theosophist. And lastly, Mahatma mentioned that he knows that Hume is creating problem, but the work he had done for the society for the initial 4 years, even present Theosophical Society leaders also remembered him. So, Mahatma did not like him to lose him. But the otherwise, he also says that he is there to spoil the truth himself one day. So we will observe in our society, means Theosophical Society, branches, sections, there are many who are always ready to spoil the truth. But we will be watchful in our action to see. So better is not to allege anything, not to say anything, not to write against brothers, others. So we will lose to become a considered as a theosophist. So with these words, I conclude. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahapatra ji, for your presentation on the lecture 76 and 77. अब मैं सिस्टर मीनाक्षी जी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो हिंदी में इसका अनुवाद प्रस्तुत करें। मीनाक्षी जी, नमस्कार।
नमस्ते, थैंक यू ब्रदर महापात्रा जी। आज हम क्रोनोलॉजिकल लेटर नंबर 76 और 77 ले रहे हैं। लेटर नंबर 76, यह पत्र मास्टर एपी सीनेट के क्वेश्चंस है और उसी पत्र पर मास्टर के एच के आंसर्स है। एपी सीनेट कहते हैं, माय डियर गार्जियन, थियोसॉफी पर हाल ही के पत्र ज्यादा लाभदायक नहीं है, क्योंकि देवाचन पर आपके लंबे पत्र के कुछ अंशों को मैंने शब्दशः ग्रहण करने पर जोर दिया, जिसके अनुसार ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि दुर्घटना और आत्महत्या के शिकार सियांस रूम की ओर आकर्षित होने के खतरे में थे। आपने लिखा है, लेकिन आत्महत्या वाले और दुर्घटना में मारे गए लोगों के अतिरिक्त एक अन्य प्रकार के मृतक है जिन्हें हम भूल गए। दोनों प्रकार के मृतक संचार संपर्क कर सकते हैं और दोनों को ऐसे संप्रेषण के लिए बहुत भुगतना पड़ता है। इस पर मास्टर सही है ऐसा कहते हैं। आगे एपी सीनेट लिखते हैं, और बाद में आत्महत्या वालों के बारे में विस्तार पूर्वक बोलने के बाद आप कहते हैं, दुर्घटना के शिकार वालों के बारे में कहे तो इनकी स्थिति और भी बदतर है। वे दुखी मृतात्माएं हैं जो सांसारिक वासनाओं में पूर्णतः लिप्त स्थिति में विच्छेदित हुई थी। वे पिशाच आदि है। वे अपने शिकार को बर्बाद ही नहीं करती, बल्कि इत्यादि और कुछ मास्टर कहते हैं इसके ऊपर मास्टर कहते हैं कि पुनः आप सही है, ध्यान में रहे कि नियम में अपवाद लागू होते हैं। मैंने रेयरली, शायद ही कभी ऐसे कहा है, लेकिन मैंने नेवर, कभी नहीं, इस शब्द का उच्चारण नहीं किया है। दुर्घटनाएं विभिन्न परिस्थितियों में होती है और मनुष्य न केवल गलती से मारे जाते हैं या आत्महत्या के रूप में मरते हैं, बल्कि उनकी हत्या भी कर दी जाती है। ऐसी बात जिसे हमने अभी तक छेड़ा नहीं है। आगे मास्टर कहते हैं, मैं आपकी परेशानी को अच्छी तरह से समझ सकता हूँ, लेकिन आपकी मदद नहीं कर सकता। हमेशा इस बात को ध्यान में रखें कि हर नियम के अपवाद होते हैं और फिर इनके भी दूसरे अपवाद होते हैं, और हमेशा कुछ नया सीखने के लिए तैयार रहे। मैं यह भली भांति समझ सकता हूँ कि हम पर विरोधाभासों और विसंगतियों का आरोप लगाया जाता है, यहाँ तक कि आज एक बात को लिखना और दूसरे दिन उसे नकारना। आपको जो भी सिखाया गया है वह नियम है। दुर्घटना वाले अच्छे और शुद्ध पवित्र मृतक अपने परिवर्तन से अनभिज्ञ आकाश में सोते हैं। बहुत दुष्ट और अशुद्ध मृतक भयानक दुस्वप्न की सभी आत्माओं से पीड़ित होते हैं। ज्यादातर जो न तो अच्छे हैं और न ही बुरे, वे दुर्घटना या हिंसा या हत्या सहित हत्या के शिकार कुछ सोते हैं, अन्य नेचर पिशाच बनते हैं और कुछ माध्यमों का शिकार बन सकते हैं, और जो मीडियम उन्हें आकर्षित करता है उनसे वे स्कंधों का नया समूह प्राप्त करते हैं। इनकी संख्या चाहे कितनी भी कम क्यों न हो, उनकी किस्मत सबसे अधिक खेदजनक होती है। आपको बहुत कुछ सिखाना है और हमें बहुत कुछ आपको बहुत कुछ सीखना है और हमें बहुत कुछ सिखाना है, और हम सब कुछ सिखाने से इनकार नहीं करते हैं, लेकिन हमें आपसे विनती करनी है कि आप जल्दबाजी में निष्कर्ष न निकालें। मेरे निष्ठावान मित्र, मैं आपको दोष नहीं दे रहा हूँ। हमारे तौर तरीके और विचार एक दूसरे के विपरीत हैं। इसके सिवाय यदि किसी को दोषी ठहराया जाना है तो मैं स्वयं को दोष दूंगा, चूंकि हम उन चेलाओं को सिखाने के अभ्यस्त हैं जो पाठ के दौरान इफ्स एंड बट्स को जानने की जरूरत से भी ज्यादा काफी कुछ पर्याप्त रूप से जानते हैं। मैं यह भूल जाता हूँ कि मैं आपके साथ वह काम कर रहा हूँ जो आमतौर पर चेलों को सौंपा जाता है। आगे का पत्र है क्रोनोलॉजिकल लेटर नंबर 77। यह पत्र मास्टर के एच एपिसिनेट को लिखते हैं। मास्टर कहते हैं कि थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी के हमारे संस्थापकों पर निरंतर हो रहे आरोप और लगातार विरोध के अनवरत रवैये से मैं मानसिक रूप से बहुत परेशान हूँ। मेरे संपूर्ण जीवन में जो शांत और चिंतनशील था, उसके दौरान मैं कभी भी ह्यूम जैसे व्यक्ति से नहीं मिला जो इतना हठी और अविवेकी हो। मैं इस तरह व्यर्थ के विरोध में अपना जीवन व्यतीत नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, और यदि आप उन पर अपने मित्रतापूर्ण प्रभाव से उन्हें समझाने में असमर्थ रहे तो हमें जल्द ही आप सभी से विलग होना होगा। मैं चौहान के साथ था जब मुझे वह पत्र मिला जो इसके साथ है, और चौहान बहुत ही नाराज हुए और इस संपूर्ण बात को तिबेटी भाषा में कॉमेडी कहा। ऐसा नहीं कि ह्यूम थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी की प्रगति में मदद करने या भला करने के लिए उत्सुक है। यह तो बस उसमें का अतृप्त अभिमान है। दूसरों को यह महसूस कराने और दिखाने की तीव्र इच्छा है कि वही एक चुनिंदा है, कि वो वह बात जानता है जिसके बारे में दूसरों को जानने की अनुमति नहीं है। विरोध न करे क्योंकि उसका लाभ नहीं होगा। हम जानते हैं और आप नहीं जानते। उस दिन चौहान ने ह्यूम की पत्नी का दर्द भरा विलाप सुना और इस बात को नोट भी किया है। ऐसा व्यक्ति जिसका परिपूर्ण बनने का लक्ष्य हो, वह अपने थियोसॉफिस्ट बंधु फर्न के बारे में मुझे जिस तरह से लिखता है वह एक थियोसॉफिस्ट नहीं है। फिर भी सोसाइटी के लिए मैं उन्हें खोना नहीं चाहता। मैं जो भी कर सकता हूँ वह करूँगा। थैंक यू। नमस्ते।
धन्यवाद मीनाक्षी जी, बहुत बहुत हिंदी में अनुवाद प्रस्तुत करने के लिए। और अब now I request any of our sisters or brothers who have any question or anything to add in today's presentation by Mahapatra ji. Please, you can raise your hand and we'll invite you. And actually, I can relate to this letter today because I gave the presentation on Devachan letter.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember.
So a lot of things I can relate to, and it was very good to know. And it was very nice that he is saying that exception actually proves the rule, because there is a rule and there are always exceptions, and you cannot tell something with all the conditions. So
Yes.
that's why the inconsistencies, or sometimes even looking that they are saying the opposite thing, it seems, but that's was nice. So if anybody has any questions or queries, please. Otherwise, anyway, we are nearing the end of time. And then I'll invite Mahapatra ji to say a few words. If you want to say final words about, then we close about this today's
No,
presentation.
my point is listening and is good, but we should practice it. Whatever given to us, the more we follow it, then it will be our nature. Anyway, that is all.
And also it was very good that you, with each slide, you had one statement or a couple of words for meditation or like to think.
Yes.
So to give some impact to it, that was very nice to get the essence of it. So I would like to thank.
Yes.
हाँ माधवी जी, आप कुछ पूछना चाह रही हैं?
आप हाँ ये वो 76 लेटर का जो लास्ट स्लाइड का लास्ट पॉइंट जो है वो थोड़ा समझना चाहते थे फिर से, छोटा सा 76 का लास्ट
76
स्लाइड,
letter, last slide.
लास्ट पॉइंट.
Last.
Ifs and buts, huh?
No, 76 जो first letter था सर.
हाँ. Are you referring to, I omitted that portion. If you have Madhavji, if you're thinking of that last paragraph of the book.
No, last slide, sir. Last slide.
लास्ट स्लाइड का लास्ट पॉइंट.
हाँ.
नहीं तो नेक्स्ट टाइम पूछ लेंगे.
Okay, I will give you what is that because I have to share it. I don't know exactly.
Next time I will ask you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Sharma ji. And on behalf of Indian section and my personal behalf, I would like to extend gratitude to Mahapatra ji, Meenakshi ji, and to all the delegates who joined this session. And hopefully we all have some points to ponder upon. And let us all come together for the closing prayer.
Yes.
Oh. Sarvesham swastirбhavatu, Sarvesham shantirбhavatu, Sarvesham purnam bhavatu, Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, Sarve santu niramaya, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Namaskar everyone. See you next time next week. Have a great weekend.